Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about building strength and building muscle on a raw foods diet. I'm going to show you how I trained and competed in a half Ironman triathlon on a diet of mostly raw fruit. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're enjoying this content, please be sure to hit like and subscribe down below. It really helps me to share this message with more and more people. And drop a comment as well. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see. My earlier video on raw diet seemed to do really well, so I think I'm going to start putting out more of this kind of content. All right. Now, one of the biggest concerns I see with a raw diet, or any plant-based diet for that matter, is building strength, building muscle. How do I get stronger? Are my muscles going to deteriorate? Is it sustainable? And these were all questions that I had as well when I first transitioned. Being an athlete my whole life, I was a hockey player all the way through college. And I can't tell you how many times I was told you need to eat a certain amount of protein if you want to get stronger, if you want to build muscle over the summer and the off season. And I'm a little guy. My playing weight was about 155 pounds. And over the summer, I would try to put on as much muscle as I could. So I would be eating 4 or 5 meals a day with snacks, very protein rich, animal protein heavy, probably eating 4,000 plus calories a day. And I still couldn't gain weight. I didn't put on that much muscle. And I had buddies who were, 6'2", 6'3", and they would eat McDonald's sandwich for breakfast, a turkey sandwich for lunch, and a chicken breast for dinner, and they'd put on 20 pounds of muscle in the summer. And so even at that time, I kind of knew that there was something not right about this calorie in, calorie out model, that there was more to diet and nutrition, that more protein did not equal more muscle. And so fast forward to over a year ago, and my playing career was over. I was on the diet that had really turned around my health problems and my health conditions earlier on in life. A very nutrient dense, animal heavy diet, very clean, organic produce, grass-fed, pasture-raised meats, organ meats, that sort of thing. It worked really well for me for 4 or 5 years. And then all of a sudden I started to feel after every meal that I just had this feeling that I couldn't do animal protein anymore. I started to feel very sick, very lethargic after my meals, and I just knew something big had to change. And so I started reducing my animal products. I started introducing more grains and legumes and beans, chickpeas, things like that, because I thought I needed my protein. And so I tried a more protein-rich, plant-based diet, and I still found that I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't digesting it well. I didn't have great energy, and so I decided to move away from this cooked vegan. I really didn't know where to go from here. I was very new to the plant-based lifestyle. I had no foundation of information, no sense of direction. And so when cooked vegan didn't work, I started to get worried. It was kind of scary, honestly, because I still wasn't feeling good, and I knew something had to be different. And so I kind of, in desperation, and I kind of just, sent out a prayer. God, universe, show me how I need to be eating, what's best for my body. And that night, actually, I came across this podcast by a guy named Dr. Robert Morse. He's a big advocate of a fruit-based diet. And he's got him and other people in the fruitarian space have some very fascinating arguments. I'm not going to cover them here. I'd highly recommend that you check them out. There's some books as well. Return to the Brain of Eden's a great one. Man's Higher Consciousness, all great resources. But anyways, I came across this podcast from Dr. Morse outlining a plan for a fruit-based diet. And this is my first tip to you when trying to build muscle on a plant-based raw diet, is center your diet around fruits. And the reason for this is because fruits are this calorie-dense, nutrient-rich source of nutrition for us human beings. They're sort of nature's agreement with humans that they will provide a very nutritious food in return for us dispersing their seeds. And so if there's one part of the plant that's designed to be eaten, it's the fruit. And it's the most delicious, most nutritious part for us. It provides us with a lot of sustained energy. They're very rich in amino acids, actually. You'd be surprised at how many amino acids or protein that you actually get from eating fruits. And there's also all the enzymes you need in the fruit to digest the amino acids. And I think this is one of the things that's kind of misunderstood. We've been told that we need protein in the form of animal products. But the thing is, when you eat a bunch of animal protein, it takes a huge amount of energy for your body to digest and assimilate those proteins. It basically has to go in, break up the proteins into amino acids, snip it apart, and then use those little pieces to rebuild your muscle and your body. And when you're eating fruits, you're actually getting amino acids in their pure form. You're getting sort of all the letters of the alphabet, you could say, and you're getting the enzymes that your body needs to digest them. So it really doesn't cost your body any amount of energy to digest the amino acids in fruit, and you're actually getting a high amount. Now, you're not getting all of them, and this is where we get into the conversation of essential amino acids that you can only get from animal products. I'm going to talk a little bit about supplementation and essential amino acids later on, but fruits are this incredibly rich source of amino acids that your body needs to build and repair itself. Another great benefit of fruits is they're very alkalinizing to the body. So you have acidic over here and alkaline over here. Your body does not like to be in a very acidic state. It leads to a lot of systemic inflammation and dysfunction in the body, a lot of disease. When you eat raw fruits, it moves your body from acidic to alkaline. And this is great for inflammation. It reduces the amount of load, you could say, on your body. And raw fruit, it just charges your body with a ton of electricity. It's a great source of electricity-rich water. And this water really has a way of filling the body with a lot of life force energy. You'll feel very energized, very good when you eat fruits as opposed to cooked plants or even vegetables. And so that'd be my number one tip, is center your diet around fruit. Vegetables are great, but in my experience, I just never felt as good with vegetables. They are, yes, they're very nutrient rich, but they're not very calorie dense, so you don't get a lot of energy. You could eat like this big salad with greens and kale and carrots, and you won't really, you might feel full, but you won't get a ton of nutrients and in the form of energy. And so I've always felt better with fruit, and that's kind of what I stay with. I'll do some leafy greens or some lettuce every now and then, but that's about it for me. My next tip having to do with fruit is actually to do something called monofruiting, and this just means that you eat one fruit at a time. Now, the reason for this is when you eat one single fruit, it goes in your body knows exactly what to do with it. It digests it almost immediately. Like I said, it doesn't cost your body any energy. The fruit kind of just absorbs into the body. It's taken up directly, and it does what it needs to do. When we eat multiple fruits together, however, they kind of get mixed up. The body, it gets a little confused. It doesn't know what to do with it. So if we're mixing like berries and bananas and citrus fruits all at the same time, instead of the fruit going in and having this alkalinizing effect, it actually does the opposite. It has an acidifying effect when you mix. And this is even the case with like oranges. They're a very acidic fruit, but when they go in the body, they have the opposite effect. They reduce inflammation and have this very alkalinizing effect. And so if we want to maintain that, it's important to monofruit, eat one fruit at a time. Now, what does this look like? For me, for example, I might start the day with half a watermelon or a whole watermelon even. And then a couple hours later, maybe it's 2 to 3 pounds of grapes by themselves. And a few hours later, maybe it's 10 to 15 bananas for dinner. and that might be a day of eating. It's a lot of calories, and that's my next tip for you is when you're trying to build muscle and build strength, make sure you're eating enough. And this sounds very obvious, but when you start this raw diet, especially raw fruit, there's something that feels wrong about eating 15 bananas in one sitting or 2 bags of grapes in one sitting. It feels weird when you're first starting. It's much more natural to eat like 1 or 2 apples. But if you do that, it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough energy. It's not going to be enough nutrition for your body to keep it going. And that's when you're going to start to get those cravings and those hunger pains, and everything that you see in your kitchen is going to look good. That's usually when I found that myself and others kind of give in to eating these cooked foods or things that are not really intended to be within the diet that we're on. And so eat enough and eat calorie, energy dense foods. Bananas are a staple of mine. Dates are great. Melons, grapes, all those things very high in calories for what you're getting. My next tip to you is variety. So in my experience, I kind of found myself after a certain amount of time falling into this rut where I would just eat the same foods over and over again, where it would kind of be, grapes in the morning and then dates in the afternoon and bananas, and day after day it was the same foods. And when I did that, I wasn't getting this sort of full spectrum of nutrition that I would have been getting if I were eating other fruits. And so that's when I started to feel not quite as good when I would get cravings and the desire to eat cooked food, is because I wasn't getting enough variety or diversity in my diet. And so I would recommend when you go to the grocery store, go off of what looks good, what sounds good to you, but also try some new things, the things that maybe you usually walk by at the supermarket. Go for those dragon fruits and the papayas and the apricots and just all these varieties of berries. And when you do that, you'll find that the body it's much happier because it's getting this variety of nutrition, this range of amino acids, and the body, it just likes for you to change things up from day to day, from season to season. I would say eat seasonally. What's in season near you? Generally, it's going to change over the course of the year, but get that variety. Ideally, your diet from day to day is going to be different. So instead of having dates and bananas on every day of the week, maybe you're kind of rotating it, and one day you're having your dates and bananas, and the other day maybe it's peaches, mangoes, and berries, and you're living that way, and just sort of getting in this routine and rotation when it comes to variety and diversity in your diet. I think this will have the best effects for you building muscle and building strength. All right, now let's talk about supplementation. Now, when I switched to this diet, I found that my body actually didn't want a lot of exogenous supplements, things coming in from the outside as I was doing previously. And so I cut most of my supplements. I felt like I was getting a lot of nutrition. I was feeling good. I was feeling energized. I had this sustained energy. The one supplement that I started using and that I still use today is something called marine phytoplankton. And phytoplankton is this microalgae, and it grows on the surface of freshwater and saltwater bodies of water. And it's sort of nature's superfood. They produce oxygen, antioxidants, fatty acids. They're a key component for all marine life and sustaining that environment and that ecosphere, really. And you can get it in supplement form. They come in capsules, or you can just get it as a powder and mix it in with your water or juice, something like that. I like the capsules personally. It's not the best tasting thing. It kind of tastes like fish food, if we're being honest. But It's incredibly nourishing. I feel great on it. I feel like it really fills those gaps. We talked a little bit about amino acids earlier and how your body needs this full range of amino acids to build muscle and to build strength. And there's certain amino acids that you can't get from a plant-based diet. They only come from animals. They're called essential amino acids. If you're trying to, say, write a book, your amino acids would kind of be the letters on the page, and your essential amino acids might be the vowels. So you can write and understand the book with the amino acids you're getting from plants, but you do need some essential amino acids in small amounts. You don't need a ton of them. You just need your amino acids in the right ratios. But if you're going to write a complete book, you really need both. You need the amino acids for the plants, and you need small amounts of essential amino acids to really get that strength gain and muscle growth. And so you're getting these essential amino acids in marine phytoplankton. You're getting essential fatty acids as well. You're getting things like B vitamins, all the things that people are always concerned about when transitioning to a plant-based and building these deficiencies. All these things you're getting with marine phytoplankton, and so this has really become a staple for me, especially during intense training periods. It's really, really helped with my recovery. I don't get those cravings for animal products or cooked food when I'm taking enough of this, and so that is one supplement I would recommend on this raw sort of fruit-based diet. All right, so now for you triathletes, you might have stuck around and you're wondering, what did my race day nutrition look like? How did I prep? What did that feel like? Race day for me and the days leading up, I ate a ton the night before. I think it was a ton of bananas for me. And I just kind of carb loaded that way. I didn't overstuff myself, but I made sure I ate enough. Race morning, I ate 2 to 3 pounds of grapes in the morning when I woke up, and I didn't need to eat those with a big gap before the race, just because fruit digests so quickly and it sort of goes in. I felt like I had a lot of energy, great hydration from the grapes, and so that was my meal before the swim. And so I did the swim. After the swim, I loaded my bottles for the bike. I mixed coconut water and dates, and I blended that up, and that was sort of my sports drink. I didn't do any gels or anything like that. Didn't really need it. I had my dates and coconut water on the bike. I jumped off the bike for the run, and I had some more dates in my back pocket, and I kind of munched on those the duration of the run. There were also aid stations with fruits like oranges and bananas, and so I would grab some of that if I felt like I needed it. And that's it. That got me through the race. 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, 13.1 mile run, if you're not familiar with a half Ironman distance. But it's a lot. It's very demanding. The training period is very demanding, but I was able to get through it with this diet. It was, it's been very fulfilling, very rewarding, but it was also very scary at times, because transitioning to this diet, especially in prep for a triathlon, there were not a lot of people doing a raw diet, a fruit-based diet, and this was sort of the first time that I needed to rely on my own guidance, my inner guidance and my intuition, and really listen into my body to guide me in the right direction with diet. I really couldn't rely on somebody outside of me. There were times where I didn't really think it could be done. Like, is this reasonable? Can I even finish a half Ironman on this kind of diet? Am I gonna make gains? Am I gonna burn out? And these were all questions and doubts that went through my head, and you might find yourself here right now, sort of not sure what direction to go. And I hope that sort of my own experience and challenges and the lessons I've gleaned through all this can be of benefit to you, and that you would find this kind of stuff valuable. So let me know what you're going through right now, kind of what you're learning, what's worked for you. If you have any questions, reach out or leave a comment. I'd be happy to respond and get in touch with you. Just let me know what you guys would like to see, what content, what you are struggling with, if there's anything you want help with. And as always, if you want to work through this process with me one-on-one, I'll put the information in the description down below. You can book a free discovery call right now, or just head to my website. There's some great free content, a free course for you. I would love for you guys to just stay engaged in any way that you feel called. I want to thank you for tuning into this video. Wishing you all the best on this journey, wherever it takes you. I know it's going to be great, and I'll be back with more of this content, and I'll see you guys next time.